Good morning, we're now on a trip through my birth town of Wimbledon, and we're on a 164 bus back to my house in Morden. There we are. This is Wimbledon bus station, which was built when the one-way system through this part of Hartfield Road was built in 1992. In front of us we've got 131, it's leaving Wimbledon bus station on its way from Tooting out to Kingston. 131 will be going to the right towards Wimbledon town centre, while we go left towards Merton Park. This is Hartfield Road. Bertram Cottages dating from the late 1800s, that's them on the left there. So we're now heading south along Hartfield Road. 163 there on its remainder of its journey to Wimbledon. Got to avoid these parked cars. Passing the Wimbledon Irish Centre on the left. Wimbledon Irish Centre, so it is, to be sure. We're still heading south along Hartfield Road.
The next bus stop is closed. The next bus stop is closed. (164) to Sutton Station.
Good old Hartfield Road, or the B285 as it's officially called. On the remainder of its journey from Sutton to Wimbledon on Volvo 200. Now in a minute we're going to turn right into Kingston Road, coming up to the T-junction with Kingston Road, where there's the level crossing with the Croydon tram-link system from Wimbledon into Croydon, which is just in front of us. Now up until 1997 the Croydon tram-link line was originally a British railway line that used to run from Wimbledon to West Croydon through Mitcham Junction. There used to be a railway level crossing that was controlled by traditional wigwag lighting. So this is the T-junction with Kingston Road, so if you turn left at this junction, that takes you towards Merton and Collieswood, but we're going to be turning right towards Merton Park and Wimbledon Chase. Now that's the A238, which runs from Merton all the way through to Kingston, hence the name Kingston Road. Hartfield Road into Kingston Road, over the tramway level crossing. There's Merton Park tram stop with a tram in the platform. We're on to Kingston Road heading west, past the telephone exchange to our right, which is where the dialing codes 542 and 543 are connected from. Spring House to the right, which is a block of flats. And we're coming up to a road Road junction we have Wilton Crescent to the right and Moston Road to the left. Moston Road which takes you to Morden through Merton Park. That's probably a 152 overtaking us.
164 to Sutton Station.
There's a 164 on its way back to Wimbledon, and a K5 bound from Kingston to Morden. And in a few seconds we're going to be passing the Nelson Health Centre,
The Nelson Health Centre.
which used to be the Nelson Hospital, where back in the 50s, 60s and 70s it even had its own maternity wing. Now the road leading off to the right is Merton Hall Road, which is where I used to go to school back in the 80s. Which was down that way. There's the famous Leather Bottle pub. Merton Hall Road there going north. We're going west along Kingston Road. Nelson Healthcare buildings from the 1900s to our left. Quinton Avenue to the right. Sutton Station. White van to turn. And off we go.
Wimbledon Chase Station.
Coming up on the left is the junction with Cannon Hill Lane, which takes you down to Rutlish School and Cannon Hill Common. We're now approaching the bus stop for Wimbledon Chase railway station, which is served by the Thameslink train services from Sutton into the city and St Albans. With this line originally from Wimbledon to Sutton via St Helier opening in 1930. Wimbledon Chase station is just this white building here to the right, just behind these trees. In its Art Deco splendour, if you can just catch a bit of that. Now this famous blue railway bridge just carries the Wimbledon to Sutton line. All the stations on the Wimbledon to Sutton via St Helier line, they all have island platforms. Under the bridge we go. To our left is a BP garage. It used to be a mobile garage originally.
Merton Park Baptist
This
Church.
hideous block of flats here, that used to be where the old Emma Hamilton pub used to be. Now this is where Kingston Road parts company with Bushy Road, so we're going straight ahead into Bushy Road. Kingston Road going off to our right towards Rains Park. So we're now on Bushy Road. Still heading west. These lovely 1930s housing, semi-detached houses.
164 to Sutton Station.
Now as we leave the stop we regain Bushy Road. Coming up ahead is the T-junction where Martin Way comes off to the left, where we turn left towards the direction of Morden. Bushy Road continues straight ahead towards Shannon Corner and onto the A3 towards Tolworth and New Malden. So at this junction where these traffic lights are at Merton Mansions, we do a tight left turn into Martin Way. Merton Mansions straight ahead. We've made the left turn into Martin Way, top end of Martin Way. Passing these 1930s built houses. So we're now heading along Martin Way, heading southwards in the direction of Morden. Over the newly installed zebra crossing. Another 164 heading towards Wimbledon. I'm very lucky because on this 164 is a double decker, which is quite unusual. I wouldn't say unusual, but it doesn't happen very often. Now we're coming up to a mini roundabout, so we're meeting up with Cannon Hill Lane again. It's Cannon Hill Lane, which goes that way towards Cannon Hill Common. We still head southwards along Martin Way. St James's Church to our left here, where there's a bus stop. Old-fashioned sets of overhead telephone wires here on their old wooden poles.
Ashridge Way.
Mere Tune Court to our right there.
I think I need to wait till fire because I can't wipe on the stick.
So on the right at this junction is Ashridge Way, which takes you down towards Cannon Hill. Onwards we go along Martin Way. Now Martin Way is quite a famous street in Merton because when the street was actually started to be built up on back in the 1920s and 30s, it was one of the only few streets in Merton which didn't have any pub along it.
South Merton Station.
So there are all other shops and other things, but it's never had any pubs on this street. So now we're climbing up Gentle Hill, where we meet up with South Merton Station. Now this is on the same line as the line from Wimbledon Chase where we saw earlier on. So earlier we went underneath the Wimbledon to Sutton line, and now we cross over the Wimbledon to Sutton line, with the line itself curving off over there towards South Merton and St Helier. We have Mostyn Gardens to our left as we go down the Gentle Hill, down the curve. Gardens being a place that I remember very well from when I used to go there with my mum and dad back in the 80s. So we're now coming to the bottom end of Martin Way, approaching Morden. And you can always tell when you're coming into Morden because you've got the ugly 1960s facade of Merton Civic Centre looming in the horizon. That's Merton Civic Centre, which was built in 1962, originally called Crown House. And you can see Merton Civic Centre from things like the London Eye. You can see it from all over the place. And It's got 15 floors, and from the 15th floor of Merton Civic Centre, you can see one side you can see London and the city. The other side you can see places like Chessington, Epsom, Kingston, Leatherhead. So now we're coming into Morden Town Centre. So this Martin Way is now given way to Crown Road. So this is Crown Road, so there's going to be a change of bus drivers here, as is always the case. So straight on is the road junction where London Road, which is the A24, the main A24 from London out to Epsom, Dorking and Worthing. And you've got the Iceland supermarket straight ahead, which used to be the Morden Odeon until it closed in the mid-80s, then it became a B&Q, then it fell into disuse, then the whole area got knocked down, and it's now an Iceland supermarket and a Lidl supermarket. Underneath where the yellow box junction is straight ahead is actually where the Northern Line tracks run underneath, with the Northern Line tracks going from Morden Station to Morden Underground Depot. Morden Underground Depot being the subsidiary depot for the Northern Line of the Underground. Main Northern Line depot being at Golders Green. Now got the replacement driver in the cab of our bus, who's going to take it on towards Sutton. So there's Civic Centre just through there in all its scenic majesty there. And we are going to turn left into the bus parking area outside Morden Underground Station, which was built in October 1926. When the Underground reached Morden from Clapham Common as part of the Morden extension. So that's the original Charles Holden designed facade of Morden Station just to our left. The ugly office building above, which was built in the mid-60s. In the mid-90s, all the Northern Line stations were refurbished with the original style of underground roundels. So we're now stopping off at the bus stop outside Morden Station, where the 164 and the 80 picks up from. So this is Morden Town Centre. So now we're looking eastwards onto London Road, which is the main A24. We're looking in the direction of London.
164 to Sutton Station.
Cleared Morden Station now. So once we leave the bus station, we're going to hit the A24, which is the sort of main high street through Morden, as it were. So now we're directly in Morden Town Centre, southern end of the Northern Line, Morden being exactly 10 miles away from central London on the Northern Line. Branch of Sainsbury's on the left, that used to be the old RACS store back in the 50s and 60s, and it became the Safeways. So we're coming up to the mini roundabout now, where we part company with the A24, where the A24 goes to the left towards South Wimbledon and Collier's Wood. But at this mini roundabout we turn right towards the direction of St Helier and Sutton. That's the A24 towards Collier's Wood, and we are going this way. We're going right. So we're now heading sort of in a southward direction onto Morden Hall Road, which is the A297. Nice bit of 1930s architecture in this block of flats here on the right hand side. So we're heading southwards along Morden Hall Road past Morden Hall Cottages, which date from the 1830s, when this was all a small village. prior to the underground coming into Morden in 1926, leading to the St Helier estate being built. We've got the Morden Hall Garden Centre to the left there, and the Morden Hall Park, which is part of the National Trust. So in a minute we'll be coming up to another roundabout, a much larger roundabout, which is where the main road to Mitcham, the main road to Sutton, and the main road to Lower Morden and North St Park Company. At rush hours, this junction here is quite a well-known traffic bottleneck because we've got one road splitting up into three. So this is the bottom end of Morden Hall Road, which is the A297, which links the A24 with the A217. We're now coming up to the roundabout. So at this junction at the roundabouts, we have the A236 that goes to Mitcham, which goes to the left, but we go to the right. Now if you go straight on that way, that will take you towards Mitcham and Streatham. Two bus routes that go up there, which is the 118 and the 201. But we're going onto this next right. Once these traffic lights change to green. And that's my stop. Traffic lights are now turning to green. And we're on to my road, which is St Helier Avenue. So this is St Helier Avenue, which is the main straight road that takes you all the way towards Rose Hill and Sutton. Now this is my cue to get off because I am getting off at this stop, so I shall see you in a bit, and ta for the like.